Hello, this is the Golden Talkies. We talk about films that came out 50 years ago this week, which would be 1970.
Yeah.
It's 2020 right now.
1950, 70 years ago this week.
If you're listening to this 500 years in the future, we recorded this in 2020.
Yep.
We apologize for the mistakes of our civilization, and we hope you can build a better world from the ashes of the old.
I don't apologise.
Wow.
And I wonder, I'm just trying to adjust my microphone volume on the fly here. Right, I think it's probably a good level now. This is going to be, the start of the podcast could be interesting there for people.
Do you think if a Roman traveled back in time, they would apologize for the havoc their civilization wrought?
If a Roman went back in time, you mean forward?
Yeah, well, thinking in terms of Lost or civilizations that collapsed in on themselves. How do you think they'd feel?
I don't understand what you're saying.
If a Roman came back in time and he saw that the Roman Empire had collapsed and there was an entirely new civilization now, how would he feel?
But what do you mean back in time? You mean forward in time?
Forward in time, back in time, it's all the same.
No,
yes.
Forward. You mean forward to the past?
Forward to the future.
Forward to the past to see how things were. Gonna take a trip way back in time, guaranteed to blow your mind.
God, you remember more of that song than I do?
I don't remember any more of it.
I just remember Forward to the Past. That's where we're going to take you.
Okay, well, let's not give any context for what just happened. What film came out 50 years ago this week?
Carry On Loving, which is part of the very successful but relentlessly critically panned Carry On franchise.
That's right.
Of British films, which were a set of comedies, usually focusing on a sort of wordplay and bawdy humour.
Yeah.
Was the sort of hallmark, a lot of double entendres, a lot of...
straight off the Wikipedia page.
Is it? I'm not looking at it. I genuinely just came up with that.
No, it's an accurate description. It's an accurate description.
Yeah, so I think it's important to give some context here, which is that I have seen a few of these, 4 or 5 at least, and I'm a big fan. I love them very much. Oh, I thought you hadn't seen any before. I thought this was going to be your first exposure.
No, I've seen a couple Carry On films.
Oh, good. Okay, in that case, we both know what they are.
Yeah, I can't remember which ones I've seen or in what context I've seen them, but I've seen a couple.
Okay, I've seen Carry On Doctor, I've seen Carry On Up the Khyber, I've seen Carry On Screaming, Carry On Matron, and Carry On Cleo, I believe, were the ones I'd seen before this. That's 5, I think.
I've definitely seen Carry On Camping. That's one, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, that's the very first one, yeah.
Is that the first one? That's not the first one.
No, it's not. Carry On Sergeant's the very first one.
Yeah, I've not seen that one.
It's one of the older ones.
Carry On Camping's right in the middle here, 1969.
Ah, okay.
Carry On Up the Jungle looks a bit racist, now that I'm looking at the poster for it. So it's probably a good job we didn't watch that one. That one did come out in 1970. Right, yeah. So anyway, yeah, I've seen a couple. Definitely Camping. I think I saw a bit of Cleo just when it was on TV, and then I think I might have seen one other.
Fun facts about Carry On Cleo is that they had the sets left over from Elizabeth Taylor's Cleopatra film, so they could use those. So that film's got really good production values compared to all the rest of them.
Interesting. That is very interesting. Cool.
Yeah, do you have any historical context you want to share?
Yeah, I do, Jamie.
Good.
Life magazine had an article where they said, "I Never Sang for My Father" is a good film. We've watched that film. We agree.
Yep.
Was there an election around now in 1970?
1970, I don't believe so.
I guess it would either be midterms or an election, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at the on this days for this.
Does 50 divide by 4?
Election. 50 would not divide by 4 because it's 10 more than 40.
Well, there you go. So I guess it's
so remember that the elections haven't always been consistent, I don't think.
A midterm then. Yeah, I'm looking it up. 1970 United States elections, elected members of the 92nd United States Congress. The election took place during the Vietnam War in the middle of Republican President Richard Nixon's first term. So yeah, midterms, I guess.
Do you want to know some interesting stuff that happened this week?
Yeah, Joe Biden
say,
became
like,
president elect.
No, not this regular week. This week, 50 years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah, I do.
Okay, so Jim Morrison was arrested for drunkenness,
Right.
and then by the end of the week, I believe he got off scot-free.
He got off? Core blimey.
Mrs. The quality of comedy you will be seeing here.
There's a lot of that, wasn't there? We'll get onto that later, I'm sure.
There's a lot of misses.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, he didn't get off. His trial began for his lewd and lascivious behavior in Miami. He was lead singer of The Doors, which is a band that I dare say most people have heard of.
You assume most people have heard of.
Yes, and he would die a year later from a heroin overdose at the age of 27. What fun.
What? Japes. Is 27, is that not the club? The 27 club?
Possibly.
Where people die at age 27?
I've never heard of that before, although I believe you.
People dying at 27. It's 20-something. Yeah, the 27 club. Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, I think Avicii, or was he 1 year off? Who else is on here? Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse.
Looking at Jim Morrison's biography, he does seem to get arrested for being drunk and exposing himself on stage quite a lot.
Quite often. Well, okay, I'm looking at this.
He was the first ever rock star to be taken into custody during a performance in 1967.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so there's a lot of people that have died at 27. Kurt Cobain. Kurt Cobain was the one, when he died, people were like, wait a minute, loads of people have died. But I think Avicii was like 26 or something.
And there's a lot of controversy about Kurt Cobain's death.
Yeah, there is.
Obviously, it was clearly Courtney Love. I'm not joking. Haha. But, cool stuff.
Anyway, that's, yeah.
And there was an IRA bombing as well this week, which I think is good for context.
Of course there was.
So we can know what was going on.
In the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
Yep. There was the first all-computer chess championship this week as well on the 7th, which is quite the development of technology. Some free African-American activists were shot dead on the 7th, which I dare say would have all happened at the same time, as well as a judge. So quite upsetting. Yeah.
Remembrance Sunday?
Shyamalan was born this week, 50 years ago, on the 6th.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So Remembrance Sunday today, Jamie.
Is it? I thought, don't we do Remembrance Day on the 11th?
Yeah, Remembrance Day, but Remembrance Sunday is the nearest Sunday to that day.
Are those separate days? Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Oh, I didn't know that.
Are you telling me you didn't do your 2-minute silence at 11?
No. Well, I don't think I was talking to anyone then anyway.
You better not be.
I think I was watching a YouTube video, so I was probably silent.
I think you're supposed to stop doing what you're doing and remember. I guess you can do that on actual Remembrance Day.
They fought for my right to live a normal life, so I'm sure I'm honouring them in my own way. You sound genuinely concerned.
You sound like you're a bit flippant, Jamie. A bit flippant.
A little bit flippant, yes. But you know what? Ain't that the way?
No, right? That's not the way, Jamie. You should remember. You should remember. Do
you want to talk about Carry On Loving then?
Yes. Please.
Right. As we talked about the death of our boys in brown.
Jamie, stop.
Oh.
Jeez, bro.
That's the colour of uniform they wore. Am I wrong?
I mean, no, but banter is not appreciated.
I apologise.
Right, carry on loving before you offend anyone else.
Fun-free zone. Carry on loving. How do we describe this? Okay, Carry On Loving is a film like I say, it's Carry On film, so you basically know what the score is. The particular setup for this one is that Sydney James and I don't remember the actress name, the woman who plays Matron in Carry On Doctor,
Yeah.
are running a dating agency, or a marriage agency as they called them in those days.
Yeah.
So one man comes in, his name is Mr. Muffet. Everyone calls him Muffin.
Yeah. There's a
His hobby.
hilarious bit where he calls himself Muffin.
Yeah, that was. There are 3 jokes, I think, or so in this entire thing that made me laugh like properly.
Yeah.
This was one of them, or that was one of them. But yeah, everyone calls him, Muffin accidentally.
Yeah.
He likes to make planes out of milk bottle tops, and he's looking for love because he's unacquainted with the female gender. So they try and match him up with, as an act of petty revenge, the woman at the dating agency matches him up with the client that her husband is sleeping with on the sly, in order to put an end to that. But she's got a wrestler boyfriend who's the jealous type and coming back to town. So shenanigans will ensue there. We've also got Kenneth Williams, who's playing a marriage advisor at the Citizens Advice Bureau for some reason. It seems to be a very well-funded Citizens Advice Bureau, much better
You
than...
have experience, Jamie.
Yes, I worked at one. They don't give marriage advice.
I was about to ask, were you a marriage advisor?
No, that's not what they do. Maybe they did it in those days, or maybe like in a really fancy ones.
Or maybe
But
in the world of Carry On films.
yeah, I don't think it was too dedicated to accuracy. But anyway,
No.
he's an unmarried marriage counselor,
Yeah.
literally. And the big man at the Citizens Advice Bureau says he has to get married or he won't be able to keep his job.
Yeah.
So he also goes to the dating agency. But, Sydney James's, not wife actually, like long-term partner, I guess, has her eye on him, and, she goes after him. But he's got a housekeeper who's also got a wee thing for him as well. And shenanigans will again ensue. And then we got one other client of the dating agency who's not played by anyone who's done a Carry On film before, at least that I've seen. And he gets matched up with a girl who has a weird family, and she's seems very weirdly Puritan. Yeah.
So I think while you talk about who's been in Carry On films before, I think it's useful to say. So this film was directed by Jerry Thomas. Do you want to know what other films Jerry Thomas made?
Other Carry On films, I dare say?
He made Carry On Henry, Carry On Cleo, Carry On Doctor, Carry On Up the Khyber, Carry On Again Doctor, Carry On Nurse, Carry On Camping, Carry On Screaming, Carry On Sergeant, Carry On Cabby, Carry On Constable, Carry On Spying, Carry On Regardless, Carry On Abroad, Carry On at Your Convenience, Carry On Cowboy, Carry On Teacher, Carry On Matron, Carry On Girls, Carry On Emmanuel, Carry On Cruising, Carry On Jack, Don't Lose Your Head, a Carry On film, Carry On Behind, Carry On Loving, Carry On Up the Jungle, Follow That Camel.
Carry On, Follow That Camel is one of them.
Carry On England, Carry On Columbus, Carry On Dick, that's Carry On. Bless This House. Oh, that's not Carry On film. I don't think. Oh, and then, okay, so there's a bunch of films that are not quite Carry On films, but look like Carry On films. And then, if you look on Google and you look up Carry On Loving cast, the first 6 people that come up have all, their entire filmography, more or less, is just Carry On films. And
yeah, well, it's a consistent troupe.
Exactly. And it's when you get to Terry Scott, who's the first one who's not just in Carry On films. And that's who you're talking about, Terry, that gets matched up with the weird girl. So, just to set the context, these guys are very aware of each other, I suppose.
Yeah, they're all worked for a very long time, and always very, very, very similar roles. I think quite chronically underpaid. I know Kenneth Williams in particular wasn't getting his fair share, which is obviously a big shame.
Yeah.
So the weird girl eventually becomes a model because she has the correct watermelons, as the film says, and she becomes super beautiful, and ain't you a lucky bird? And then the only other thing worth mentioning is that Mr. Muffet, or Muffin, ends up accidentally, in a case of mistaken identity, going on a date with a model, and hilarity ensues as she assumes it's a naked photo shoot.
Yeah.
Gets panicky and leaves, but she develops a thing for him, and they start dating. And I think that about covers it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose so.
It's a collection of sort of related but not entirely romantic japery.
Yeah, and it obviously all comes together in the final
It all
act.
comes together in the final where the two managers of the dating agency finally wed each other, even though they'd lied, and they invite
Yeah,
all their clients. And then there's a massive food fight for some reason. It's not really built up properly.
yeah.
It just kind of
So
breaks out.
I have to say, I actually quite
Mm-hmm.
like the way that the film brought itself together nicely.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a comedy film. It's a carry-on film. It's very predictable. It's very
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But I think it was quite elegant. Maybe elegant is the entirely wrong word, but quite nice how it just had that classic like comedy feel of it of oh no he knows him and oh no they've done this and he's gone round to this place and so's coming round. It was just a nice watch. The way it all
Yeah.
came together.
The gears all click quite
Exactly,
nicely.
which I
It's
like.
not too awkward in that.
Yeah,
I would say up until I suppose the main thing is that the marriage counselor story doesn't quite connect with the rest of them, whereas the other three are all quite interrelated. It sort of feels a little vestigial, if
yeah.
that
I
makes
saw there
sense.
was a lot of. Oh wait, no, never mind. Ignore me. Yeah, you're right.
All right.
Who does he? Oh
Who
yeah,
does he
no,
what?
but yeah, but then I mean he still has a bit at the end where he has the marriage counselor lady around at his house, and then the wrestler comes around, and
Yeah.
Esme Crowfoot comes around. So
Oh, you're right. That's
I
true.
think he does get,
So
but maybe not as early as the other ones, but he does.
yeah, well, I think yeah, he's the only one who like the rest of them don't know as well, I suppose. But
Yeah,
you're right. They do. His house is like the final stage of Sidney James' story, who I
yeah.
will never be able to remember the name of any of the characters in this film. Oh, and there's also a private detective played by the man who plays Private Whittle in Carry On Up the Khyber. I don't know his name. Uh,
I think their names are.
but I literally just got the pun Private Whittle. Um, but
um. So there's one person, Jamie, in the cast
mhm.
that stands out. This
Who
is
is
her
that?
only carry-on film. Do you know what other film she was in, Jamie?
I do not.
She was in When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth, the film that we could have watched a couple of weeks ago that you didn't let me.
Yes. What? Who did she play? Was she the housekeeper?
She
Maybe.
no,
Or...
she was. It was Imogen Hassel who was the one of the big boobs that becomes a model. That's
Ah,
weird.
right. I'm
Um,
going to suggest that maybe she was hired for When Dinosaurs Rule the Earth and for this film for the same reason.
what's that, Jamie?
I couldn't possibly comment.
Okay.
Um,
I hope you weren't about to be sexist there and imply that she didn't get the job through rigorous audition processes.
I mean, I think they wanted a good actress who had a particular physical form, and she fit both those requirements.
What did we watch instead of? Oh, we watched The Circle Rouge, right? Instead of.
Yeah, that was a great film. It was a good
It was
time.
a good film, but I do think that we missed out on When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth.
Well,
Big time.
what a shimmy sham.
Shimmy shame.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So, what do you think of like the humor of the film, which I think is easily its most identifying feature?
Well, overall, I did quite like it. I must say there was one joke that was a bit overused, which was when someone would use the word "it" to describe something, and the other person would assume they were talking about sex. And I
Hmm.
think that joke was probably used at least 15 times.
A lot of the times they were like really stretching it. I can't remember.
Yeah,
There's like one which is like, oh, I've put it in, and he's like, ooh, misses, and she's
yeah.
like, I put the sugar in the tea,
Hey,
and it's that all that sort of thing.
hey Jamie,
Uh,
have you done it yet? Oh, not yet, but we might get onto it later. Oh no, I was talking about this. Oh, ha ha ha. You know.
yes, that's it's that joke.
Um,
I
I
would say
go on.
most. I think at this point, maybe just in Carry On's run, or at least maybe it's just the point of writing for the film, that most of the double entendres are really quite tired.
Yeah,
Um, I don't really enjoy these films like on their level. I enjoy them because I find them charming
me
and how
too.
sort of.
Me too, man. I think I've not. I don't think I've actually seen. Oh, I can't remember which ones I've seen or when I saw them, but I don't know if I've seen any of the very early ones. I don't know if maybe they feel a bit less tired. But I mean, you can imagine trying to write the 20th Carry On film with new double entendres and innuendos, and like everyone reading the script and being like, "Oh, we actually did this one in Carry On, whatever," you know.
Yeah.
Surely,
I'm sure they reused the jokes.
oh, absolutely. Like in every one, probably they
Yeah,
reuse most of
but
the
like I
jokes.
think, given that I'm sort of enjoying it, like not ironically, but like from a detached perspective, I think it's actually more.
Semi-ironically,
Yeah, but it's
I
more
would say.
enjoyable when they're a bit tired. It reminds me. I really like I really like the sitcoms, or I really like the later seasons where they become like really tired and self-aware.
Yeah,
Like Seinfeld in particular, which is also a show I don't entirely enjoy, not unironically. But like once it like really gets drawn out and like very bogged down in its own formula, then I start finding it a lot more enjoyable. It's like more ridiculous. It's more of itself,
yeah.
more drowning in its own identity,
I
which I
think
find enjoyable.
I think you're right, Jimmy. I think that's a really good analysis of Carry On and Seinfeld.
Thank you, thank you. Um, yeah,
Talking
I was
about
gonna say.
sitcoms, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went on a bit of a binge of watching Curb Your memes, right? And
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
no, Curb Your you know, like the memes where it's like someone does something and then the Curb Your Enthusiasm music starts playing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But as part of that, I started getting recommended clips from Curb Your Enthusiasm, and I have to say I didn't find it
Mm-hmm.
funny at all.
I think for both Seinfeld and Curb, which I've never been able to see on Now TV, I think you really have to watch it in the context of the episode because it's all about like the building momentum.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but I think
because
I've seen Curb.
the random scenes were just really not very funny. I feel
Yeah.
like they were very specific at least. Um,
Hmm.
Anyway, that's just a little aside while we were on topic
It's
of
a good
sitcoms.
aside because there's not going to be too much to talk about for this film.
Film. Um, there's no boobs in this film.
No, there aren't in. I think in some of the later carry-ons where there was like more pressure to be more body, or not
Yeah.
body, but like actually just more sexual, and they start getting them out. But like that's never been this. It's all about like being cheeky
Oh,
rather than
I know it is, but
sexual.
I'm pretty sure Carry On Camping has it. I think Barbara Windsor gets her
Huh.
knockers
Uh,
out. Um, and that's from
could you not come up
1969.
with a camping-related double entendre there
Probably, yeah,
for the audience?
yeah, probably. I mean, yeah. Um,
Uh,
but I was, yeah, there were no boobs in this film. Not that that's a grading criteria for the Golden Talkies podcast, but just something that I noticed having seen specific Carry On films that do have that.
Alright.
Caught me off
Yeah.
guard, but in a
Mm,
good way, probably. You don't
yeah.
really need. You don't.
Were there many jokes that you found actually funny? Like, sincerely?
The muffin one was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Let me have a look here at my notes. Uh,
The other one that I found quite funny, or I remember finding funny, is the taxi cab one,
oh,
where he
that was
gets a
so funny. Yeah.
cab and he's like, follow. No, it's
No,
like
he
gets the
goes to the first one and he gives him the address and he says, "Go to this address," and the guy drives
as
off without
quickly as
him.
possible, and then he
And then
immediately drives off before he
he goes
gets
to the
in.
next one. He says, "Follow that cab," and the guy drives off without him, which
Yeah,
I found that genuinely quite funny. I got a good chuckle out of
yeah.
that one.
That was, I would say, the probably the best, like genuinely good joke in the entire film.
Um,
Uh,
there's another one where throughout the film there's the couple that are just shagging all over the place.
yeah, and
Um,
everyone just sort of like
Ignores it.
not disregards them, but just sort of
Yeah,
like lives their
lives with
lives
it.
around them.
Which I found quite funny. I personally I quite like when films have these like little silly things in them that are like a recurring motif throughout. But
Mm.
there was a funny bit where they were in the car. They were doing it in the car, and there was a learner plate on it, and the guy took the learner plate off and threw it on the ground and said, "I don't think so," or something like that. "You must be
Oh
joking,"
yeah,
he says, which I found
mm.
quite funny because obviously implies that they're
Hardy
pretty
har.
good
Yeah.
at it. But yeah, I like that one. And what was the other one? Uh, so some of the innuendos were quite funny. Like there's one where the girl's describing her parents and he says they're no fashioned pair, and then a guy looks at her boobs and says they're a beautifully fashioned pair. Which is pretty hilarious. Wouldn't
Yeah,
you agree?
it's the height of comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, and the other one I laughed at. Oh, I didn't really laugh at it, but the "she really is a flatmate" line was pretty funny as well.
Oh God, that I do remember that one.
What?
Um,
Yeah.
I do remember that one. That's quite. You know what? Credit to them. They could pull it out when they wanted to.
Yeah.
This is where you say "ooh or misses."
Who are Mrs. Oh, we should have planned innuendo to throw in this episode.
Yeah. I'm sure I can come
Have
up
you
with
done it,
one.
Jimmy?
Done what? Sorry.
Plan.
Yes, I've done it.
What
I did it this
you've planned the
evening.
innuendos for the episode?
Yeah. Oh, is that what you meant? I don't know.
Oh, I thought you meant something else.
Yeah, that's not the way around it works.
I've not done it yet, Jamie.
Not
Recorded
you've
the
not.
episode, that is.
Oh,
Ooh,
misses.
Oh, yeah, it's yeah, pretty funny.
Oh.
Um, what do you think about the representation of wrestling in the film, Jamie, of the wrestler?
Uh,
What do you
I'm
think?
looking at my log right now.
Your what? Oh,
My log.
uh, what? Oh, bloody hell, Jamie, put it away.
My audio log.
Oh. um.
The representation of wrestlers seems to be that they're all very aggressive.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think the important thing I like any farce is that there needs to be like one character who's like A makes assumptions very quickly and B is capable of like massive damage to others. So I guess that's the role the wrestler plays. He can sort of be called into any scene.
Oh, Jamie, there's a pair of big
Bring the
knockers here.
laughs. We were misses.
Oh, I
I,
meant there's a couple of wrestlers banging on my door. A pair of big knockers. Oh man. Yeah.
We have fun here.
It's pretty funny when Miss Dempsey beats up the wrestler, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
To defend her man.
Mhm.
She is his humble servant.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite Carry On actor?
Oh, let me have a look here.
I am a fan of Kenneth Williams.
I was about to say I think Kenneth Williams. I think
Even though all of his characters in every Carry On film are the same. Even though he does do blackface and Carry On Up the Khyber.
Oh no. It was a different time, Jamie. Yeah, I think Kenneth Williams is probably my favorite as well. Charles Hawtrey I quite like as well.
Oh yeah.
But not as much.
Yeah, I think it's worth saying that because I don't think we're gonna have too much else to say about this film. Like I would say that like if you're wanting to watch a Carry On film, I would not recommend watching this one.
Which one would you recommend? Carry On Cleo apparently is generally seen as the best one.
Well, the thing is, I was going to say, I think the best one that I've seen is probably Carry On Up the Khyber, but the issue with Carry On Up the Khyber is that it is quite racist.
Yeah.
And does have the blackface in it. So I would probably recommend either Carry On Cleo or Carry On Screaming.
So it's sort of like you recommending Tintin in the Congo as your favorite.
The thing is, Tintin in the Congo sucks anyway, so it's fine.
Does it? I can't remember if I've read it. I just remember I was really confused there because it was when I was younger because it was the only one that was in like wrapped up.
Yeah, I was obsessed with reading Tintin in the Congo when I was younger, just because like it was the only one that wasn't like included in like the DVD set.
Yeah.
And like for the books, you always had to hunt much harder to find it.
Yeah, because it was always in, wrapped up in foil because it's racist and you don't want kids opening it.
But like loads of the other Tintin books are racist, and we were allowed to read those.
But I do think they're less racist, in some way.
A little, yeah, but I don't know. I
feel less openly racist anyway.
I think any time a black person shows up in the Tintin book, which is pretty often, like it's not a great time for anyone.
No, Tintin in America is quite racist as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got Native Americans, but I think even
a bit less so.
Even when we were young, you weren't necessarily like culture wasn't as sensitive to them.
No, definitely not. Man, I'm looking at some pictures from Tintin in the Congo right now, and it's really not good.
I remember Asterix being much worse in that fashion, or at least like in the way I can't remember.
I mean, the thing is,
Hmm.
It is historical, you know.
No, because
It's how people were seen by or
I
presented.
think I
As
suppose it's worth keeping around. I mean, it's not. I'm not saying you should burn every copy of
exactly,
Tintin,
well, that's what I'm
but
saying. Like,
you
you
can show
shouldn't
it
do
to
that because
children.
it's an insight into how other cultures were presented
Yeah.
at a certain point in time. So I think
I
as
think
long as you make it clear that it's not appropriate and it was done for this reason and that reason, then
well,
you know,
yeah, I don't think it should be shown to kids, but I think it's obviously important. A, because every Tintin book's important for Belgian comic history, and also to
yeah,
show attitudes of the time.
yeah,
But I understand why it is in the shrink wrap.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
appreciate that now as an older man. But at the time, it was just sort of a cool secret thing that I really wanted to read.
Yeah, me too, man. I think my mum eventually let me get it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyway, that's how do we get into? Oh, carry on up the Kyber's blackface. Yeah, so
yeah.
let's look. I'm looking at the BFI article here for the best Carry On films and the worst Carry On
The
films.
thing is, the BFI will say that Carry On Cleo is the best because it's got the sets from Elizabeth Taylor's one. But
Carry
I
On,
would
Carry
the
On
thing on
Cleo, yeah, is here.
the thing about Carry On Up the Khyber is that I think it for every Carry On film, the actual measure of how good it is how many gags it has that aren't based on sexual innuendo.
Yeah.
And Carry On Up the Khyber does have quite a lot of quite good sequences, even if it is also not
Well,
super cool.
so looking at the BFI here, Carry On Cleo is number one. Carry On Up the Khyber is number two. Carry On Screaming is number three. Carry On Camping is number four. So it looks like if I have indeed seen that, which I think I have, it's one of the good ones. Carry On Matron is another one that's here, and then
I have seen that one. It's not.
oh,
Yeah.
apparently Carry On Girls is bad.
Oh,
Carry On England is bad.
makes sense.
That's Carry On.
I think that's
So
one's more of a clip show or looking back at the
yeah,
history.
Carry On Emmanuel. Carry On Columbus. Carry On Columbus is from 1992.
That was the revival.
Yeah, so I guess not great.
I
Okay,
think I think some things are best left in the past. Not even because they're bad, but just because they're so quintessentially of their time. I don't think you could ever have you know I don't think you could bring back Carry On, particularly in the '90s, but today as well. Not
yeah.
in the PC police way, but just for attitudes. It's not something that could be done cynically, I think, or even ironically.
Wow.
Mm.
Some of this also sorry I got distracted here. This also has the best gags from each film, and some of them are pretty hilarious.
I'm guessing they went for infamy, infamy. They've all got it infamy, right?
For which one? Carry On
Yeah,
Cleo.
for Carry On Cleo.
Yeah, Carry On Cleo. Carrying Up Khyber. Can you guess what the best gag is?
Uh, I think the dinner scene is the best. That's not a gag. That's a scene.
It
Uh,
says
I,
it says the
I'd maybe.
best. Oh,
I was gonna say maybe the scene where Private Whittle tries to console his dying friend, but
it says the best gag is a skit involving sabotage weaponry, culminating in a machine gun playing a '78 record rather than firing bullets at the
I
enemy.
was thinking about saying that is the same scene as the dying soldier, though, even though that's not
Right.
what they're talking about. Uh, yeah, but I don't know. They're a fun
Oh,
time.
okay. So Carry On Camping. I don't think you actually see the boobs now. That I'm.
Sorry.
Oh no, you do. Wait. Okay. Anyway, moving on. um, right. What's your favorite scene in Carry On Loving, Jamie?
It's not. I genuinely don't think there are any entire scenes where I'd be like, "Oh, this is fan dabby dozy tip top." I would say either the opening scene where Muffet comes through the dating agency, or the specific scene which has the taxi gag in it. Even
Right.
if I can't remember anything else about that scene.
N-
Yourself?
Not the what? What about the one where? What was I going to say? The one where they're trying to have sex in the lounge and people keep coming in. Did you like that one?
that one was very annoying to me. I
Yeah.
felt the character's frustration. I don't know.
I was thinking you could have just gone to their bedroom, to be honest.
I was also thinking that. Why in God's name aren't you going to your bedroom? Um, yeah, I don't know. It felt maybe a little forced, but also I don't know. He's. He, I couldn't say I felt too bad for them.
No.
You know,
Cool.
they have power. Um, yeah. Shall we just move on to the final rating? I don't have much else to say.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I would put this as a watch very firmly. Watch if it's on. The essence of watch if it's on.
Do you know what, Jamie?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to join you, bro.
Yeah.
This is a watch if it is on.
Yeah.
Nothing,
Otherwise,
nothing more, nothing less. If this is on, you better not change the channel. But
well,
if
you should if there's something else you really want to watch on.
What? No, that's not how the rating works, Jamie.
No, if saying watch if it's on is just like if it's there, you can sit down and it'll be like a decent time.
That's true.
But anything,
No,
any
right,
emotion other than that, if there's anything which is like, oh, I wonder what's going on Channel 4, then you should chase that emotion instead.
Instead of watching Carry On Loving. Yeah, do you know what?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we'd both recommend, I think, Carry On Cleo, Duncan going off the BFI, and me trying to think of one that's good but not racist. Although I think Carry On Cleo is also not great. Maybe just go for Carry On Screaming.
Carry On Camping, do that.
I
watch Carry On Camping.
Right. What have you been up to this week? Moving on to the unrelated section.
The unrelated section. Well, do you know what I've been up to, Jamie?
What have you been up to?
I've been watching this presidential election, boy.
Oh, we stayed up for that. Or my flatmate stayed up properly. I went to sleep for 2 hours in the middle of it.
I stayed up till like 2:30, and then I went for full sleep. My flatmate stayed up till like 3, 4, and then got up again at like 7, 8 to keep watching.
I watched Carry On Loving until about 1. Then I went to sleep until 2.
Yeah.
Then I watched 2 hours of the election. Went to sleep until 6:30. And then watched the rest of it and was very unproductive that day.
Yeah. Well, me and my flatmates were unproductive for about 3 days because we just had CNN on the whole time, watching it. What was quite funny is that when it actually got announced, my flatmate messaged me and said, "I've heard that they're going to announce it soon. Like there's breaking news that's going to be announced soon." So we went through to the lounge to watch it. We were sitting watching, and it looked like it was going to be maybe a couple hours still. So then we started playing a game of FIFA, and then at halftime we like paused it and went over, and sure enough it was like we just missed the bit where it was like elected.
Oh, of course.
So we kind of missed it, but not really. We saw all the guy crying. Have you seen the clip of the guy crying on CNN? It's pretty emotional.
No, I saw. Oh, Stephen Colbert.
No, the guy, the CNN like analyst.
No, I don't mean to sound mean, but I can't take it seriously when they cry.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect me in the same way. I'm sure it's just because I don't live there.
Well, definitely, but it was funny because throughout the whole thing they'd been trying to like appear like they kept saying stuff like, "Oh, I don't have a horse in this race," and like anyone can still win and all this stuff. And then as soon as Biden wins, they're all like so emotional and happy and like it was pretty funny.
I'm sure it's at least partially because they're wanting to like bring back some credibility.
Yeah.
But whatever. Yeah, there were a lot of people partying, which I was very happy for, but also made me feel very anxious, given the
for COVID. I know.
Yeah. But I don't want to be a spoilsport if that's what people are doing.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to try and tell people you can't celebrate it at all, but also it's pretty dodgy. The amount of people that were out. I mean, to be fair, most people did seem to wear masks, which I'm sure makes a difference, but it's not like the masks aren't magic, like.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel being sort of Well, I feel like being in any sort of crowd is probably a bad idea, even if you are like 2 meters apart and wearing masks.
definitely. There are some people setting off fireworks on the Saturday night here, and I was not sure whether it was for Guy Fawkes or for Biden.
In Aberdonia.
Well, my guess is it's for Biden, and I think they bought the fireworks after Guy Fawkes Night when they were cheap, and then set them off, because it doesn't make any sense to set off fireworks 2 nights after Guy Fawkes Night.
Yeah, makes sense. I guess there's quite a lot of Americans in Aberdeen, aren't there?
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
What did you do for Guy Fawkes Night? That was this week.
I don't think I did anything. What night is it? 5th November, which would be Thursday. What did I do on Thursday? I got drunk and watched Taskmaster.
Right. I went to the beach, and it was very stressful.
Oh yeah, was there a lot of people there?
There was a lot of people there. So I went with one of my flatmates, and then another flat of 3. So it was within the rules. We did like a bonfire, but then there was other groups of like the same number and maybe a bit more, but there was there's 1 or 2 groups of first years that were like 20 people.
Way too many, yeah.
All first years just walking about, and of course they're all really drunk, so they were like coming up to us and they were like, "Oh, I love your fire. How'd you make it so big? Oh my god, this is great!" And we were kind of like awkwardly trying to like shoo them away or something. I don't know. It was just really uncomfortable. There was also people who are not very safe with fireworks.
Of course.
It was really
you're not supposed to use this drunk.
We were like right down on the beach, and there's people firing them over our heads and like landing on the beach and landing in the water and all sorts. It was pretty scary actually, to be honest, but you know, it happens. It was fun though. We did a big fire. We set some like a guy on fire and all sorts. It was good.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, I haven't really socialized very much for the last.
But that's the first time. That's the first time I've seen anyone outside my household for over a month.
Yeah.
It was really weird. I mean, it was nice, and it was perfectly within the rules and regulations, which felt good as well. But
yeah, well, like it was only like when you guys like messaged that I was like, man, I haven't seen anyone for a really long time.
Yeah, I mean, me too, because I literally hadn't, and then I was like, oh, I can do this, but I was just like, yeah. Yeah, I've not seen anyone. I mean, I've been training, but so I guess I've seen people there, but still, it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, have I been doing much? I've been watching more Star Trek and playing The Witcher 3 more, and being unproductive in my studies. Yeah. I'm really finding it hard to concentrate right now. I don't know why. I think I need to start something.
This last week I had an essay and I actually did pretty well, but before that, man, I just could not focus on anything. And I tried to start a new game of City Skylines, but I realized that when I played it over the summer, I had like all day every day to play it. So I would just like have time to do the stuff that I was planning to do. But I just found it really depressing because I like set myself an hour to play it. And then it's just not enjoyable. Playing a game like that takes hours and hours and splitting it, for me personally, splitting it into little hours, I just don't find enjoyable. Like when I just have like an hour to play a game, it needs to be something short, like a shooter or a sports game where I can just have a quick thing. Because I do think my favorite games are like strategy games and city building games and that kind of thing, but I only enjoy them when I have like a full day to sit down and play them and I can really invest in it. Whereas when I just want a like quick break, I need to play something different.
Yeah, like it hasn't been. It's been definitely my fault because I haven't been as consistent as before. But I've not had a day off this week, and I probably won't until next Friday.
Yeah,
and that annoys me because it means I can't really like just sit down and do a thing.
Yeah, same. Like at the start of the semester, I was trying to basically have the weekends off, but now I've just started working every single day, and it means I don't get as much work done in a day because I get distracted by other things, but it also means I can't do the things I enjoy either.
Yeah, like last year when I was doing my year abroad, I sort of got into the bad habit of working every day, but like not being that productive because I was tired because I was working every day. So I've been really, I've realized that I can't do keeping weekends free. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
But I've really been trying to be consistent about keeping at least one day a week off, and I've sort of been successful, but like I'm slipping up a bit. particularly now that we're into November and I'm getting a bit busier. Although not so much. I don't think I think I'll be okay for November. Actually, I think I'm actually going to be mostly busy in December, which is weird because
Oh,
it's my Christmas holiday.
that's a
But I'm going to
shame.
have to do most of my dissertation then.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Uh,
have to do a fair bit as well.
yeah,
Only,
but
well, not so much. My mine's due after the semester, so I don't have to do too much over Christmas. But I need to do something at least, I think.
well, like my I don't have any exams at Christmas, end of Christmas semester, end of this semester. Sorry. So I've got two really quite small essays due, and then I'll be done for work that's due this. I think one's 1,000 words, one's 1,500. And then I'll be done in terms of work. But I really need to get cracking on the old dissertation, or that's really going to catch up with me.
Yeah.
But you know,
Hmm.
otherwise pretty all right. I downloaded the Switch not remaster re-release of No More Heroes on Friday, I think.
Yeah.
And I played that a bit last evening for a couple hours, and I really love that game. I'm looking forward to finishing it. Again, it's also mercifully short, if I remember correctly. So I think I will actually be able to finish it.
Hmm. Cool.
Which is, yep. I will talk about what it's about when that fine day comes. Um,
Sounds good. What else have
yeah.
I? Did we? Wait, have we? We've not recorded since Halloween, right? Or did we?
We wouldn't have because it's only been 1 week.
Man, we've got so much to talk about. What do you do on Halloween,
For Halloween,
Jamie?
for Halloween,
Oh,
yeah, we all dressed up. I dressed up as a plague doctor because I'm very, very tasteful.
nice.
And we watched Friday the 13th, the first one,
Mm.
which is a fun time. It's not a good film, but it's nice to watch with other people. And it also, I'm sure you don't care too much, but it has one really big jump scare near the end. And it's always fun to watch other people's reactions to that when you're like, know it's coming.
Yeah.
Mm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I watched on actual Halloween. I watched Nightmare on Elm Street. Um,
Oh, I've been keen to see that, although I never have. Is it like freely available someplace? That's
no,
legal.
we got it on DVD. My flatmate got it from the library on DVD.
Oh, that's very nice. I should visit libraries occasionally.
Yeah.
I don't have a Glasgow library card.
Do you not have it in your university library?
We don't have DVDs in our university
Oh,
library.
we do. That's where you got it from.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Pretty good. It wasn't very scary though. It's not a scary film.
Well, I think a lot of slashers are actually not
Yeah.
that. I think they're not meant to be that scary, and that they're more meant to be like fun.
Yeah. It was
Uh,
fun. It was kind of gory, but it definitely wasn't scary,
yeah,
particularly.
that makes sense. I wouldn't
Yeah.
call Friday the 13th scary either.
No.
I think in its latter half, it just gets kind of funny. Um, yeah, I don't know. The thing is, like, I feel like, oh, I watch these films like, oh, I'm so brave, nothing could scare me, and then I watch like an actual film that's designed to be scary, and I realize, oh,
Yeah.
no.
Exactly. Same.
Um,
Actually, I almost watched a scary thing yesterday, and then I couldn't because I was too scared. I was like, "Fuck it, I'm not watching this." But that
yeah.
was, yeah. I got cocky after watching the not really very scary Nightmare on Elm Street, and then something actually scary. And it was not. I don't get anything out of watching like genuinely scary stuff though. Personally,
Yeah,
I
I
really don't
like
get anything
I
out of
like
it.
I like being tense. I like it when I'm very directly emotionally engaged in something, even if it is,
Mm.
you know,
No, I'm not. Not a fan
somewhat.
of that. I'm gonna pass on that.
That's fair. Um,
And on actual Halloween, I had an online party for one of my societies,
yes,
which was fun.
I saw.
Yeah, it was
Or
good.
mentioned it. It's not that I saw. It's that you told me specifically.
Yeah, and
And
I'm telling you
I
again,
listened.
and telling all
Yeah.
our viewers, listeners,
Listeners, it would be,
would be,
unless
wouldn't
they're
it?
watching.
Well,
Uh,
even if they're watching on YouTube, they're still just listening though, really, because it's just a still image.
yeah. And what a still image. I hope the monitor burn's worth it for them. Um,
I hope so. I hope so, man. Um, should we finish? Have you got
I
anything
think
else?
we're good to go. I don't
I
have
think
much
we
else to say.
I think we've exhausted.
Next week, we might as well have the decision now because I think it's an important one.
Yeah.
Next week, the only film that is a practical option is by David Lean, and you know what that means, which is that it is 3.5 hours long. It is also meant to be quite bad. Do you want to watch it, or do you want to cheat again and watch MASH?
Hmm. What's the film called?
It's an officer. It's about Ireland in 1916. I'll look up David Lean Ireland and hopefully it
Brian's
will.
daughter.
Brian's daughter. That's it.
Hmm.
I realize that like the conceit of this podcast is that like we're supposed to watch things regardless of whether or not we're interested in them.
Yeah.
I'm not awash in free time. I don't want to watch this. So if you want to cheat for next, I'm also quite cool with cheating.
Why don't we not say right now? See how
Mm-hmm.
the week goes. Maybe even take a week off, depending how busy we are.
Hmm. Okay.
Or watch MASH, or watch this.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So just for next week, don't wait up.
Don't wait up. This episode's going up late anyway. I think, based on the
Mm-hmm.
fact we're recording it on Sunday. So don't wake up. We still love you all listeners.
But just not enough to watch a three and a half
But
hour
pot-
long romance film.
potentially,
That's
potentially we might make a decision to take a week off instead of watching a 3 hour film, or we watch
yeah,
something else.
yeah,
We'll
cool.
see.
Right. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.